This is an Action News Update with Mary Hughes.
Good evening. The man who played a key role in ending World War II has died. Japan's Emperor Hirohito suffered intestinal cancer. At 10 on Action News, we'll have reaction to his death from world leaders. The rift is widening between the Texas Ag Commissioner and the state's largest farm group. Jim Hightower says he'll seek re-election. Some wish he wouldn't. An AIDS program is on its way to Amarillo Public Schools, and we'll have some sweet thank yous for veterans, all at 10.
There's a pride on the high plains, you can feel it all around. People like you are getting us through together. That's why we're for people like you. KAMR, the one for news, for being there for what you do. We're saying thanks for turning to Channel 4, people like you. Channel 4, people like you.
The news starts now with Jim Blue and Mary Hughes, Roy McCoy's weather, and Steve Oakley with sports. Live from Amarillo, this is Action News 4.
A deadly disease is changing what your children are learning in school. It's now reading, writing, arithmetic, and AIDS. Good evening. Jim Blue is off tonight. We'll have more on AIDS education in Amarillo coming up. First, our top story. The country of Japan is in mourning. Its longest reigning emperor has died of cancer. Hirohito's reign lasted 62 years, but he held virtually no direct political power. His one major decision was to urge Japan's military to surrender to the Allies in 1945, thus ending World War II. NBC's Don Oliver reports on the man who held divine status before his country's defeat in war.
When Hirohito began his reign in 1926, he had the status of God. The Japanese believed the very fact their emperor was divine made them unique and made them willing to go to a certain death in his name. The tears shed by Japanese when they lost the Second World War were often tears of shame for having dishonored the emperor. Many Americans viewed Hirohito as a vicious warlord who should be tried as a war criminal. But he was spared by General Douglas MacArthur in the belief the symbol of the emperor was needed for Japan to remain stable. Hirohito was instructed to renounce any claims to being a god, and under Japan's post-war constitution, he became a figurehead, a quiet student of science, devoted to marine biology, and passionate about the sport of sumo wrestling. The emperor traveled, making a point of apologizing to the leaders of countries Japan ravaged during the war. He continued to have the love and respect of his people, but played little role in Japan's emergence as one of the leading economic powers of the world. Hirohito's funeral is expected to draw leaders from many nations where he was once denounced as a warmonger. Don Oliver, NBC News, Tokyo.
Late today, President Reagan said Hirohito played a truly heroic role in helping to end World War II. Back here, a complicated murder case moved inside an Amarillo courtroom today, more than a year after the murder. The case involves 4 Amarillo men accused of decapitating a local woman in 1987. None of them speaks English.
Well, the main problem is the language barrier. The defendants are